It's 4:30 p.m. on Monday, November 4th, 2024. And we did do go back to standard time rather than daylight savings time this weekend. So the sun sets in about an hour. There's supposed to be a bunch of rain coming down right now. We just got a tiny sprinkle. So I'm just going to move the sheep to the next row here that I just set up. I have 2 more rows, so set up the wire one more time, and then we will be done. And then I'll move the ewes to be with the cows, and the bulls will be with the goats. I'm sorry, the rams. I don't have goats. There are a couple notes about this row. I'll just kind of talk through it while the wind blows. Hopefully the microphone will pick up my voice, do some noise cancellation. But sheep. The nice thing about this new row is there's plenty of grass in the middle. Not so much grass on the east side because of the trees. There's like 3 or 4 trees down there, but lots of grass. Yeah, you're a criminal. Come on, let's go. They're all running to the new row. You're breaking the law. Lots of grass in this row. There's some pretty good grass until the end, but I think this grass is probably one of the best rows in the southern half that we've had. No, don't cross the wire. Come on, little ladies. I want to cut this lady's hooves. I might try to catch her today. No, I won't. Maybe tomorrow or the day after. She's probably slow enough that she's easier to catch now. But you can see she's in a fair amount of pain now from the long hooves. Come on, sheep. All right, I'm going to chase you guys in. Come on, let's go. See, the hooves are all curving upwards now. This is, I think, one of 2, maybe 3 sheep that have hoof problems, but this is by far the worst one. They're not supposed to be growing hoof when they're on grass. And the last time they got feed was before I bought them from my friend who lives down the street. So I'm gonna have to trim her hooves. I think I should be able to catch her pretty easy because she's pretty slow. You know, she's limping and stuff. There might be some foot rot going on there too. Goatweed. Let's talk about goatweed. So last year, I remember this part of the pasture had plenty of good goatweed. It was very strong in goatweed growth. But this year, it is not very strong at all. So the weeds come and go. One year they're super strong, the next year they're not. And my weed treatment program was nothing. I did nothing at all to prevent the growth of goatweed. I didn't mow, I didn't shred, I didn't put any chemicals down, I didn't plow the field or anything like that. Just rotationally graze the animals. You know, keep them moving, give the ground plenty of rest, give the grass a chance to compete with the weeds, right? The key insight, take this home with you, is when the grass just starts to grow, it just comes out of the ground a little bit, that's when it's the sweetest and the animals will go after it. They know that the freshly growing grass is candy, right? But the problem is when the grass is just coming out of the ground a little bit and it gets nibbled, the grass dies. That's it. It doesn't come back, right? In fact, if you want to kill bamboo, the way you do it is you cut it down and you wait a few days, and when it starts to regrow, you cut it down, and you wait a few days, and when it starts to regrow, you cut it down. And I think after the 3rd or 4th time of doing that, the bamboo's dead. It's not coming back, not in a million years, right? So that's how bamboo is a grass, by the way. It's a type of grass. So that's how you kill grass, is you eat it right when it starts to grow back, right? So if you want the grass to grow, you have to let it rest. It takes about 3 days for it to start to try to regrow in optimal conditions. And you have to get the animals off of there. You can't leave them there for more than 3 days for that reason. And other reasons that have to do with parasite counts and all that kind of stuff, right? Give it plenty of rest. At least 2 or 3 weeks. And depending on what kind of grass and what time of year it is, it could be 6 months rest. It could be a year rest. Give it plenty of rest, and then come back to it and see what you got. And that's how you compete with the weeds, is you give the grass a chance, right? The weeds don't like to be eaten. Well, the grass doesn't like to be eaten when it's young. But if you wait till it grows and matures, then you can optimize your operation. It's starting to rain a little bit right now. I'm going to get out of the rain and let's head side by side. So, what else to add? That was my plan for taking care of the goatweed. And what else is there to talk about? There's something else I wanted to talk about. Move the cows. I'll be moving them tomorrow morning. They just got the last of their grass in their row. I would like to move the sheep daily at least, probably twice daily. Once they're with the cows, that should be pretty easy. I'm going to have to change how I do things because I'll need 2 strands for the crosswire, or maybe I'll just do 1 strand low and see if the cows respect it. But should make things a little easier, I think. Should make things a little easier. I did want to experiment with putting the wire even lower and seeing if the sheep will or the cows will cross it, rather, the bulls and the cows. But I think George Heller did a video not too long ago where he was keeping cows and sheep together, and he had that wire low, probably like 2 feet off the ground, something like that, 1.5 feet, 2 feet. Now the cows can just step over that, no problem, but I don't think the cows would. The sheep, however, I find what the sheep do is they just graze without looking too hard, and they end up under the wire. The cows will do the same thing if you put the wire high enough and if they're young. But you put that wire low where their eyes are when they're grazing, and they won't cross the wire because they get close to it and they see it, or better yet, they get a nice zap in the face if they don't pay attention to it. So I do want to experiment with lower wires, but I'm still kind of because I did put a lower wire on for the cows at the 3rd hook there rather than the 2nd hook where I normally do, and one of the cows did cross the wire, but she crossed back after a couple of days. So I don't think that's this or that. I don't think it really proves one way or the other, but just one crosses, it could just be a fluke, like maybe she got pushed or something like that and she ended up outside the wire. If it's half the herd, then it's a problem. And oh yeah, this is what I wanted to talk about. My brother, if he's watching this video, I don't know if he watches my video, he probably doesn't. Let me get out of the rain all the way. There, okay. So he has 2 acres of land, and he has like 10 sheep and goats, probably 12 altogether in that number range. And he asked me, he says, how do we get the grass to grow? And I said, well, you get yourself some hot wire and you give the grass a rest, right? And he kind of looked at me, he's like, that sounds like a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah, it is a lot of work. And he had, so his backyard, if you can call it a yard, backfield, I guess is what you should call it, because, a couple acres. So he has a section off with fence that I think came with the property when he bought it. Okay. And so I just told him, I says, look, you have basically 3 areas. You have your back lawn, you have the 2 back fields. Just stick them in one area for like a month or 2. Give the other grass a chance to rest, and then move them to the other area, a month or 2 or 3, and then move them back, right? You should see positive results just from doing that, right? And I said, if you divide your field in 4, it should get better. If you divide your field in 8, even better. But by that time, you should start using hot wire, right? And he goes, yeah, I'll try that. That's something I can do. And my point is this, is that the techniques that we're talking about here, like I'm doing something, Greg Judy's doing something else. Everybody that does this is doing something different, right? So if you go to like Greg Judy and say, I want to copy your method, he'll probably tell you like, don't copy me, right? The things that he uses for his farm and his animals and his land and his climate is going to be different than you on your farm, your land, your animals, your climate, right? Even if his next door neighbor came to him and asked, I'm going to copy you and do exactly what you do, he'd probably say, don't do that, right? The key is that you kind of learn, like, what is the key concept? How does this work? What's the benefit of doing it? And then you figure out with what you have, the resources that you have available, the amount of time and effort you can put into it, the expertise even, right? So if you're new to hot wire, if you're not comfortable moving them like every day, just set up the hot wire and just try to get them behind it for like a week, or 2 weeks or a month, or do something like that. Just do something. Just try something out If it works, great. If it doesn't, don't do that anymore. Do something else. And you got to learn for yourself, right? So this isn't like something you plug into a computer and you get an answer. This is something that you figure out by watching your soil and your grass and your animals and your land and everything else, right? So for my land, my climate, my grass, my animals, this is what I'm doing, and this seems to work okay. There's probably better ways. I hope to find better ways if there are better ways, you know. But that's, I think, the important message is what do you have and what can you do? And put those things together and then find the best solution. So guys, have a great day. Take care and bye-bye.